Good morning. Just a stock market update here. Unfortunately, a couple of days later, just gave one. Um, Not looking too good. Just got a few notes here. I'll be very clear. I never bluff. So I think the first point is here's the old saying, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. And I think that's what's going on here with the stock market. And I'm going to blame Trump and Biden, both of them, for what's going on here partially. Powell being a Trump appointee, he doesn't know his head from his rear end on interest rates. No problem there. Just say what you say about interest rates. Nothing's coming in. You saw inflation come in a little hot a couple years ago, so there should be no surprises there. If you're going to raise rates, just be clear about it. Don't try and mislead the public. That doesn't help anything. Um, so with the declining stock market, the problem is you got probably for an older person who has a pension, that's a person that should be worried. I got plenty of time. I can't touch my 401k for 20 years. So somebody with a retired person probably starting to get worried at this point because may not even be able to work in their age or physical condition, and they see that portfolio declining. So could be definitely, I think, entering a problem area for those sorts of people. Public pensions not going to be able to pay your rent in Wichita. So that's I think, your first problem with that. The second problem is if you come up with a list of probably 100 things to, I believe the Fed has an ulterior motive here. I don't know if it's the working shortage or what their problem is. They're not. They keep switching with what their position is. But at the end of the day, if you come up with a list of 100 things to come up with two lists, 100 things to get somebody to do something, and 100 lists to not get somebody to do something. Unfortunately, with the declining stock market, it's going to be on lists of getting somebody not to do something. So you take somebody who is smart with their money, invests it, Buffett, etc. Declining stock market will even affect, I think, those people. It's going to get kind of turn them into sour people where even they are not enthusiastic about investing or this or that. So you're kind of squandering those people that are willing to do that or take that risk or risk their money, um, which is not a good idea. You can't start up a company with a bank loan, so you have to use equity, and it's a difficult market to begin with. So when you do not give people a fair rate of return, that reduces the capital available. So you're just kind of squandering whatever's left over, and you're not going to get people to work. You're not going to get people to do this or that. You're not going to. There's no correlation there, so you're not going to get people to do anything by doing that. Just bad things will happen, like we said. So on the second point, um, just not it's not a way to get somebody to do something. A declining stock market, it's probably gonna have the opposite effect. The third point is probably more of a personal matter for me. I've decided, and I decided ahead of the market drop not to invest anymore. I'm going to sit on what I have, and that's been proven very prescient here over the last 10 months. Now, I'm not saying I can predict markets, but it's actually been ahead of the market, which you shouldn't be ahead of the market. The market should have all available information and shouldn't nobody should be able to beat it. So I guess I've been lucky or what have you. But these 10 months, um, I've been ahead. And looking at the Russell, I think we're down about 32, 33% from its drop. So I think, I looked at the charts and, it was around 20, 25%. Is that a normal drop to have that every 2 years? I guess it was. But at this point, I look back pretty far, and it was down, I think, 40% roughly 2 years ago during COVID. And I look back, about at least 50 years. Does that happen every 2 years? No, it does not. So I think kind of that supports the decision on my part not to invest anymore. I'm going to sit on what I have, and there you go. So that's kind of what could happen there. Somebody, they get sick and tired of that sort of situation, and they certainly have the obligation not to invest. Anybody out there has their own. The market's going to should return a fair rate of return. Everybody comes up maybe with different numbers if they're happy or they're not happy. So you're turning away a lot of people by doing that. And I certainly respect what the markets do, but everybody has a right not to invest if they don't want to, and that's kind of the beauty of that part. So some good positive stuff at least on that third point. Everybody can opt out if they want to. Um, so I guess there's somewhat a positive note on that third point. Um, those are kind of the three big points. I got a couple of smaller points. And this one ties into the second point we talked about. Working and investing are two almost completely separate things. I mean, there's no correlation between the two. I myself don't check my 401k balance. I probably estimated a little bit based on what the market's done, but I don't check that. I just check it maybe for tax purposes or this or that once in a blue moon. And I would probably recommend that to most people. You can't touch it till you're 59 and a half without a penalty. So, what difference does it make how it gets to there? So, it's probably, don't waste your time on checking that anyways, but it has no correlation on work. I don't, work, I don't spend based off of where the market's at. I don't work based off where the market's at. You'd have huge swings, okay, working 20 hours one week, 80 the next. It's just not possible. So it has no correlation on the working side. And I don't know where the Fed's going with that, with the worker numbers. Ramping up interest rates is not going to alleviate or have any effect on the workers' numbers. Apparently, there is some shortage. I don't know what that's based off. Most people don't have the resources to work less. So COVID didn't kill that many people. So I don't know what's going on there, but the Fed's not going to have any influence. They're certainly not going to force people to work. You're not going to force people to do anything, in fact. So the Fed's got to change their strategy with that one and change it quickly. And the last point is, I guess, kind of maybe taking a look at the housing situation. That one, I think maybe, the Schiller numbers, I think year over year. So it kind of looks like the market's still going up, but it's not. And I'm not sure how far we're down. I think that one was a little bit inflated, but certainly, more stable than the stock market. And I think for people to interfere with any of these markets, you're going to have bad results, and you're just going to distance yourselves from people. So, not a good idea for anybody to try and manipulate these situations. I think overall fraud's probably 10 to 15%, maybe 20%. So, you know, you're not going to have any good results on that if you try and manipulate that or manipulate anything. So, just to wrap it up, I think the stock market, who knows where it goes from here, but I got 20 years. I feel kind of bad for the older people who don't have that time. But if you're younger, I wouldn't sweat it. You're not going to touch your 401k for a while, anyways, without a penalty. And I wouldn't recommend doing that at any point unless you face some severe hardship. So if you're younger, I wouldn't sweat it. It's probably good a time to not pay attention to the stock market every day. I think with the volatility going on right now, it's not gonna matter. It's not like a bank account balance that you need to monitor every few days. So, just kind of maybe distance yourself a little bit from that. Whatever it does, and don't let it have any effect on you. And if you're frustrated with it, you're certainly within your rights not to invest anymore. That's up to each person. What are they happy? A lot of people I talk to, some people are like, oh, this is great, and some people don't like it. So, it just depends on the individual. And I think the good thing we touched on was, it's up to each person if they want to invest. And the other point was with the Fed, you're not going to force anybody to do anything. So, the market, hypothetically, the market can go to zero, and it's not going to get, certainly not going to get me to work anymore. It would actually get me to work less is what it would do. So, You're not going to get anything positive out of people by having a stock market drop, whether you do it intentionally or not. And that's where we're going to end here tonight.